The informal economy is the diversified set of economic activities, enterprises, jobs, and workers that are not regulated or protected by the state. For example, the nation of Congo is primarily based upon informal jobs, and therefore so is its economy. Overall, 61% of the world's workforce is considered informal. The worldwide rate of some of the countries' informal sector is as follows. In Africa, 85.8% of the employment is informal. The proportion is 68.2% in Asia and the Pacific, 68.6% in the Arab states, 40% in the Americas, and 25.1% in Europe and Central Asia.
The informal business sector is pretty much exactly how it sounds. Somebody does an odd job, such as a service or a task or whatever else, and they receive a payment for it. Here, this guy provides car washing service for this van. See, he owns his own little business. He provides any sort of car with what it needs. For the specific, just a simple car wash. In turn, this van and its family will pay the guy in cash or some other kind of payment that they seem necessary, and it's all this kind of under the table scheme thing going on. That's what makes it informal. The other industries that do informal things is like, I'm sure we've seen somebody maybe selling some sort of fruit or other product on the side of the road, and even as far as plumbing.
The inequalities between those at the base and the tip of the economic pyramid can be traced through nested layers of inequality between capital and labor, between formal and informal workers, and between different groups of informal workers, and between women and men at each level. In today's globalized economy, income and wealth are increasingly concentrated at the tip of the economic pyramid. At the same time, once formal work is being informalized, new forms of informal work are being created and informal workers are facing new challenges.
Essentially, what this means is that all of these inequalities sort of come out to wealth. When it mentions having the wealth concentrated at the tip of the pyramid, it means at the very top. So I'm going to draw a triangle here, indicating a pyramid. All the wealth is at the top right there. All of these workers in these areas down here don't have the most concentrated wealth, which would ideally make sense. It's rather at these big business owners or like shareholders that would. So essentially, one of these big negatives is that, all of this money isn't going towards health or benefits or anything like that. It's going towards their pockets.
This is the holistic framework period. As you can see, it separates employers from unpaid family workers and men from women and where they typically are at on the pyramid. As you can see, employers, like stated before, are at the top, but however, this time you see that it's segregated, containing mainly men, further showing the inequality in such an informal economy.
A stark difference in general between formal and informal is that typically, as a formal worker, as part of that formal economy, you are somewhat unionized. You are guaranteed a certain rate of pay and certain benefits. Whereas informal, you aren't necessarily guaranteed that. You often lack both of those things and even a voice in what is happening to you or the company or whatever else you're really working for. Overall, we've gone over the informal economy and how it's not fair and definitely not equal. As you just saw from that holistic pyramid, women and men are not equal whatsoever in that. Men tend to hold those higher rankings closer to like the shareholders and businessmen, while females tend to be at the bottom, with the non-working family members. And therefore, they tend to be more impoverished while men seem to be succeeding, you know. Overall, I'd say it's a fair statement to say that under an informal economy, you don't have very strong benefits. Your wages and other protections are not guaranteed, which leads to an overall weakness within that economy as a whole.